The covert narcissist. How many of y'all went into that relationship thinking you'd met your happily ever after and came out of that mess with a PhD in narcissism? Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Lisa, and if you're enjoying this content, please take a moment to like and subscribe so you'll be notified each time I upload a new video. Now, many people think of a narcissist as someone constantly checking out their appearance, someone who brags about their successes and their accomplishments to anyone who will listen, someone who's obviously up on themselves. And while this is certainly true of narcissists, the covert narcissist comes across quite differently, making them harder to detect. The covert narcissist is sometimes referred to as the vulnerable narcissist, and they can come across as humble, shy, socially awkward, and they may even have a tendency to put themselves down. These narcissists excel at playing the victim, and they do this in order to gain sympathy and attention from others. This is also the main tactic that a covert uses to ensnare a new victim, a new source of supply. When the covert narcissist is in a relationship and that relationship hits the devaluation stage where their current partner is now seen by them as imperfect and flawed, the covert is going to tell other people, and especially potential targets, how terrible the relationship is, how they have tried so hard to make it work, how this person just doesn't appreciate all the things that they've done for them and how miserable they are. And if there's children involved, they'll play the martyr, claiming they're only staying in this relationship for the sake of the children. Now, if the narc's partner has figured out who they are and they've left them, then the covert really needs to up that victim game. And they up the game because now they desperately need to secure a new source of supply. They need to prove to themselves and to others that there's nothing wrong with them. And also, they can't be alone. And this is why they work so hard to find a replacement quickly if their partner leaves them. But most of the time, that replacement is not someone brand new. They're someone the narcissist was already grooming on the side. They need backup sources of supply, especially once they begin to devalue their partner. And I just want to mention here that if the person you're getting involved with tells you that their partner just suddenly left them without any warning, without giving any reason, and without discussing it with them, that person did not just leave, that person escaped. And there was a reason. And you should see this as a huge red flag, because no one leaves like that for no reason, especially if they were married. And trust, the narcissist knows the reason. So some signs that you're dealing with a covert narcissist include, as I mentioned, playing the victim, putting themselves down, in an attempt to gain attention and sympathy. They may have a tendency to come across as a rescuer or a hero. They may show a willingness to step in and help, and this is from their desire for recognition and praise, not out of truly really wanting to help. They may proclaim you as their savior, the one that they've waited to meet all their life, their soulmate, telling you all of their previous relationships failed because they were meant to meet you and they were meant to be with you. You may see that they'll show contempt or be dismissive of their previous partners. Everyone either deceived them, took advantage of them, or just never appreciated all the wonderful things the narcissist did. And as the relationship continues, you'll start to notice passive-aggressive behaviors, such as small criticisms that are disguised as jokes or backhanded compliments. You may notice that they're jealous and envious of you giving your time and attention to others because they want all of your time and attention focused on them. They'll use subtle manipulations, such as telling you they just detested it when their ex did this or when they said that. And this is done in a subtle way to control you so that you try harder not to do or say anything that their ex did or said. They will also manipulate the topic of conversation. And pretty much all narcissists do this, because conversations need to be about them and whatever they want to talk about. So they don't really listen with the intent to hear you and to understand you. They listen and wait for the moment that they can jump in and turn the conversation around into the direction they want it to go. So maybe you share a story of something that happened in your life, and they're going to have to one-up that with an even bigger story about something that happened in their life. You may share an amazing experience that you've had, and they're going to have an even more amazing experience to share with you. You may relate a heartache or a sad story. Trust, they're going to have a bigger heartache and a sadder story, because every conversation is actually a competition for them. They feel the need to one-up you because they are secretly envious of your accomplishments. And therefore, they're going to speak of their own accomplishments, whether those accomplishments are real or imagined, in order to make themselves appear more special and more unique. If you express empathy for others, this actually wounds the narcissist. They want all of your empathy focused on them, so they will downplay and minimize the experience of others. Now, in the beginning, they will hide their aggression, their resentment. They keep that hidden. But you may notice that you see it towards others. They may complain a lot. They may vent their frustrations to you. They may vent their anger to you, but they won't direct it at you. Not at first. You may even witness them raging at someone else, but because this rage is not directed at you, you're going to believe that they would never rage at you this way, and that the person that they're raging at must be truly horrible, since they're nothing but kind and sweet to you. I witnessed my ex-narc screaming and yelling over the phone at his ex-girlfriend many times, and I thought she must have been a real monster to be able to elicit this extreme behavior from him, that she must have just finally pushed him to his boiling point, and thus he reacted this way. Of course, at the time, I never believed, nor could I even imagine him ever screaming at me like he screamed at her. And of course, I was wrong. And here's a red flag. If someone can express hostility, name-calling, and extreme anger towards anyone, they can and will do the same to you. I promise it will happen. Eventually, the covert narcissist will behave the way all narcissists behave. They'll eventually show themselves to be controlling and demanding. They'll criticize you, belittle you, invalidate you, and devalue you. But usually the covert will only do this behind closed doors so they can keep up their public facade. They're going to work hard to learn your secrets so that they can expose them to others. And this actually happens very early in the relationship, before the obvious devaluation begins. So you probably won't even be aware of this in the beginning. They're going to also learn about all of your vulnerabilities and your insecurities, and they're going to file that away in their little memory bank to use against you later. They're also going to tell all of that to others. And again, you probably won't even know at first, because long before they're deep into the devaluation of you, they've already devalued you to others. And they do this so that if and when you wake up to what's happening and you start talking to other people about their behavior, you're likely not going to be believed, because the narcissist has already poisoned everyone else against you. All narcissists lie. All of them. Compulsively. Pathologically. They all lie. And when you start catching them in their lies and you call them out on it, they will turn it around on you. They're going to get defensive, deflect, project, gaslight, and blame you for whatever they did or they said. And you'll notice that while they may speak nicely to others to their face, they'll criticize these people either subtly or not so subtly once that person leaves. And just know they're doing the exact same thing to you when you're not around. I used to overhear my ex-narc talking to people over the phone and saying very hurtful things about me. And then he'd get off the phone and act all nice and sweet to me because he didn't know I had hurt him. And on top of that, he would then say nasty things to me about the person he was just chatting with so nicely. Narcissists will also take credit for your accomplishments because they believe you were only able to achieve such things because of their support. But they'll certainly blame you for every one of your failures, since you wouldn't have failed if you were as smart as they are or you had listened to their advice. So, to recap how covert narcissists are, they tend to have fake humility, and they have a tendency to put themselves down to gain sympathy and attention. They may display a quiet smugness or a quiet superiority. They display passive-aggressive behavior. They envy others and they feel they deserve what others have. They lack empathy for the feelings and the situations of others. They may have a tendency to step in and help out of a desire for recognition. They may be dismissive of their partner. They use criticism but disguise it as jokes. Their manipulation is subtle. They are highly sensitive to criticism because that threatens their idealized view of themselves. If they receive critique instead of admiration, they take it hard and they become defensive, they blame shift, they deflect, and they project. And although they may not actually say it, they believe they are special and should be treated as such. They may appear shy or socially awkward, but they do have grandiose fantasies. They feel an exaggerated sense of being unique. They exploit others for personal gain. Their sense of self is extremely fragile, and any giving they do is done with a goal. They do absolutely nothing without an agenda. And here's another red flag. If you are Googling your partner's behavior, trying to understand what the hell is going on with them, if you're watching videos like this, trying to determine if you're dealing with a narcissist, you probably are, or at least an extremely toxic person. So tell me, have you ever dealt with a covert narcissist? And what was your experience? Thank you so much for taking the time to watch, and may you have a blessed day.